Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode.
Thank you for listening to part 2 of a 2-part series here at the Shed Geek podcast. If you missed part 1, just go back to last week and listen for more engaging conversation here at the Shed Geek podcast. Call for advertising. Innovations manufacturing. Let's get you on this advertising thing. So here's how it works. It's really simple. There was a time that I needed to make a living through the podcast. Whenever I first started, I didn't even know advertising would be an option. Jeff Huxman from Shed Hub hit us up and said, "Hey, can we advertise on here?" And I had to build out a platform for advertising. Then 6 months later, when I found myself, unemployed and sticking to my guns on owning the podcast, I had to make a living out of it. And I did. Started selling advertising. Since then, things have been really cool. Things have been really good. We got Shed Geek Marketing, Shed Geek Rentals, Shed Geek Finance going. Other opportunities happen. Speaking engagements happening. I guess what I would say is, we've been blessed, and we've been blessed financially. For that reason, I've been doing this year something that nobody else can say that they're doing. It's actually contrary to any business person's philosophy. Typically, I have been lowering the price of advertising. I don't need it to make a living now. It's still very relevant. It's still very necessary. It does maintain the show. It allows for me to hire, for instance, my wife, my son, my daughter. So it's sort of a family event. They have a whole production side. Everything goes over to Deanna. She's great, man. She's excellent. She gets my son and my daughter in line, and she produces all the shows. They upload everything. They are truly the heroes behind what you see here. You just see me out front talking about sheds. They are doing everything in the background, including making sure that AI is not turning words like shed into things that shouldn't be in the transcript. It's been pretty awesome. So how it works now is like on the Wednesday show, we have 10 advertisers. And you say, why 10? Well, I have 5 one week, and then I have a different 5 the next week. They have a 1-minute clip, 60 seconds, give or take. Some of them go longer, some of them are less, but thereabouts. They have a 60-minute commercial. So for those of you watching it on YouTube, you'll see the commercial jump in maybe now.
Hello, Shed Builders. I'd like to grab your attention for just a moment. As we look ahead to 2025, one thing is clear. Customers will have higher expectations than ever before. Shed consumers have an unprecedented access to information. To stay competitive, you need to create sheds that are not only high in quality, but also rich in innovation. You might recall my friend Dan Ream, one of my early podcast guests, who introduced Solar Blaster fans, specifically the Solar Roof Blaster. Dan has been busy handling orders, and he's eager to speak directly to shed builders about his groundbreaking products. What stands out to me about Dan's products, designed specifically for sheds, like the Solar Roof Blaster and the Solar Light Blaster, is how they enhance the shed owner's experience. With the focus on quality, it's time to start thinking about adding features and benefits for the end user. Here at Shed Geek, we wholeheartedly recommend Solar Blaster as the solution. My favorite thing about the entire line of products? The support you'll receive from Dan. Not only is he incredibly knowledgeable about these products, but he's also one of the most customer-focused individuals I know. He truly stands behind both his product and his service. We're searching for companies ready to elevate customer satisfaction to the next level. To learn more, just visit solarblasterfans.com and fill out some basic information for a callback, or connect directly at 480-747-7097. You can also check out the Shed Geek newsletter, where a click on the Solar Blaster ad will guide you to a form for more information and some cool videos showcasing the products. Let's power up innovation and elevate customer experiences together.
For those of you who are listening, you just hear the commercial through our different audio outlets, such as if you're a call in, landline, Amish listener, and you call in on the podcast to listen, um, which has been excellent, by the way. We see about 400 call ins per week from the Amish, and that's exciting. So, for those of you who stand out in the phone shanty and go back and save your place and listen, we appreciate you. We don't say that enough, but I promise I do. Um, but how it works is we have 5 advertisers. So if you figure 45, 50 minutes of content, that's 5 1-minute commercials. I don't want to inundate you guys constantly with commercials. I don't like it when I'm on different social media platforms. However, we do want to get word out about different advertisers. We want to give them their money's worth, but we have significantly slashed the price of advertising because it is not a primary means of income now. And where most people would say, no, just keep taking, raise the prices, any of that. I feel a different level of conviction. I feel like we are making a good living. Um, I can give back if that's the one way that I can give back. I don't believe in giving it away for free. I believe that if you give it away for free, it's worth what you paid for. And we have helped, I can think of at least 1 or 2 companies that we've helped make well over 6 figures. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I would make the argument that we've helped generate, millions of dollars of business out of the podcast. And we haven't always captured that. But I do believe in the Zig Ziglar quote. Any of you who've talked to me in private or do, you'll get the consistent answer from me. And that is to help others get what they want so that you can get what you want. So that's kind of part of one of my keynote speeches that's coming up is the idea of being a giver versus a taker and how givers succeed, even surprisingly in the spirit of giving versus just constantly taking. And this is a prime example of being a giver. We can give back advertising at a discounted cost. So for that reason, we want to grow our advertising network, but we can only grow it to 10 people on my Wednesday show. We'll talk with Steel Kings on theirs, and we'll work out an advertising budget for them. We'll talk with Sam on his, work out an advertising budget. For the Wednesday show, it's really simple. We have 10 spots, 5 1 week, 5 the next, and then they rotate throughout the year. So they have a 1-minute commercial going out there. Those come at a different cost, but anyone can get on the newsletter. And for those of you who don't know what the newsletter looks like, let's just do this. For those of you who are able to, see, this would be an example. So what you see here is the newsletter. This is our studio sponsor. It has been for 3 years. That'll end in May. Union Grove Lumber will then have a new sponsor. We actually have, all these are clickable links. So if you wanted to go to their website, it's really simple. You would just click on this. And as you can see, it's loading slow today, but boom, you're at their website. All the rest of these you can click on any of these links to find out about any of our services and fill out these lead forms. And it automatically runs into a funnel in our CRM, and we'll get back with you. We have the episode number where you can listen or you can watch, depending on if you prefer to listen on Spotify or any of the other outlets like Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Bullhorn. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. And then, of course, YouTube for video, which dominates the video market. Even episode registry, if you need to go back and listen. Again, all these are clickable links. Today's adventure or today's advertisers, it is always an adventure. You can click on these, and in some cases, it'll go to their website. In some cases, we'll have lead forms if you want to find out more information. This usually is a clickable link that goes to some type of website. Tells you who today's show is, gives you a little bio, and then these are all our Shed Geek supporters, and these are what we refer to as digital ads. This is kind of like what you'd put in a magazine, if you will. It's a 800 by 400 pixel advertisement. And you can click on each one of these, and in many cases, you're going to see that there's a lead form where we partner with this company, and here's some information on them. And if you want to find out more, go look at their videos or fill out this lead form. You know, so depending on how well they have their website set up, if it's digitally tracking, they're able to kind of find out if you want more information. They can't see specifically that it's you, but well, in some cases they can. So I'll leave that alone. But basically, I guess what I'm saying is if you're an advertiser, if you're someone who sells a service or a product in the shed industry, and maybe this will work for the Steel Kings as well. It works for Sam's podcast as well too. If you want to reach the industry, this is $100 a month. It's $100 a month to stay in front of people. They can click on these links, and as time works on, we can build these links out further, to where there's automation funnels and things like that. So it's what we plan on doing. We want to grow this. We want to see this grow tremendously. And one thing that is super exciting that we'd really like to start doing in here is to grow this newsletter in general. I'm going to start putting some blogs in here. But for those of you who offer products and services that you want to reach the industry a little bit further, this is not a pay to play. You do not have to be an advertiser if you want to be a blogger. So if you want to get in here and write some information that talks about your product, maybe it's making sales simple. Maybe they want to talk about the sales process and put together a small blog, and we can link that so that you can go and read that. And I don't know, it's kind of like a digital magazine to some extent, I guess you could say. Again, we're not wanting to be in a competing space. We don't want to. We write in the magazines. We love those guys. We encourage you guys to advertise with them. We encourage you guys to read those. But this is a platform to do a similar thing digitally. And so we want, maybe you're a digital shed builder and you want to talk about the benefits of 3D configuration, write a blog, give it to the industry. We want you to do that. But if you're advertising, it's really, really simple. That's what advertising looks like on the podcast. I think that's everything. Yeah, we want to get that newsletter up and going a little bit.
Introducing Shed Hub, your ultimate shed marketplace. Are you in the shed business and looking to connect with more buyers? Look no farther than Shed Hub. Shed Hub is a game-changing, two-sided marketplace that brings shed sellers and buyers together in one easy-to-use platform. Think of it as the Amazon of sheds. Shed Hub isn't just any ordinary marketplace. It's a powerhouse that ranks on the first page of Google's search results in 91% of U.S. cities. With over 1.2 million impressions on our website last month alone, Shed Hub is where you want to be to showcase your sheds to a wider audience. And here's the best part. For a limited time, you can join our exclusive Next 500 plan for just $39 per month. Simply head over to geek.shedhub.com to sign up and start attracting more shoppers to your shed listings. As the Shed Geek, I am here to endorse Shed Hub and invite you to join me on this journey to boost your shed business. Whether you're struggling with website visibility or simply want more eyes on your product, Shed Hub has got you covered. Don't miss out on this opportunity to supercharge your shed sales. Visit geek.shedhub.com today and make your mark in the shed industry with Shed Hub.
Okay, where do we go from here? Want to grow the newsletter, bloggers. Just talked about that. That's our hope. That's our plan. We'll see if it happens. I can tell you that it's a lot. If you're going to be dedicated to writing something, whether it's 500 words, 1,000 words, 1,500 words, nice little blog, goes back to your website, create some backlinks, all that good stuff. I just need a dedication. If you're going to write something once a month, it's arguably a little easier for the magazines. They put out 6 publications a year. So if you're writing here, we put out something 3 times a week. So if you're wanting to be a blogger, I highly, highly encourage you to dedicate yourself to ask yourself, can I sit down and write 500 or 1,000 words or 1,500 words per month? Because we want an array of different people and different services, different business minds that sort of are willing to share just some thoughts. They used to have some blogs on the NBSRA website. Man, I used to read those, loved them. I thought those ideas that were on there were really, really great. They didn't, unfortunately, stick with it. It seemed like they done it for a year or two. Don't know what happened. Not part of it. Just saying it was awesome. I loved it. I loved reading their thoughts. So we want to try to put together some of that same dynamic content. Long term from the podcast. Oh, long term for the podcast. I don't suspect anybody thinks that they're going to get in and make a living on a podcast, and especially do it for 4 years, let alone hopefully for 10. I think that's where I'm at right now. I think that we've got several more years of content that we can continue to create. Is it sustainable to do a podcast for 10 or 15 or 20 years? I don't know. I don't think that far ahead. I should probably, but I don't. Um, I feel pretty secure for the next several years. We will begin to lean on some of our other business adventures a little bit more, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe I can find a replacement at some point, or maybe we can continue to do what we've been doing, which is finding other personalities in the shed industry to sort of step up and discuss things. I'm always open to a conversation if it's something that you guys want to do. I have been more than overwhelmingly pleased and surprised at some of the positive feedback we've gotten. I've had people tell me everything from, you have the voice for it, the personality for it. I love the uniqueness. There's a CEO of a very large company that you guys would know, tell me, you walk a really good line, you walk a really good tightrope on the podcast to not upset anybody, and that meant the world to me. Same guy sent me a book. Appreciate the heck out of it, a leadership book. That meant a lot because you can doubt yourself a lot as you're being vulnerable and doing this and putting out content and information. People might not like you. Not everybody does like me. I get it. I don't know what I've done to them, but you're just not going to get everyone to like you. And I try to, and that can be very difficult. So, it's hard to be vulnerable and put yourself out there, and just, yeah. So long term, we want to create connectivity. Long term, we want to create value. It's always been education through entertainment. Obviously, whenever I lost Kyle, we lost some of our entertainment value. It was a lot of fun to have him on the show. And we haven't really just sort of like replaced that entertainment value. I'm a little bit more of a deep thinker, and try to laugh, try to have fun. Dylan's really great. He's the best I can think of as far in terms of replacement from uh, entertainment. The guy's absolute blast to be around, but really the whole team. I mean, as you guys get to know Cord and Wyatt and David and Nick and Josh and Justin and yeah, it's so many more. There's so many great personalities. I feel like we can just get on here and sort of discuss things in the industry. And if you feel like we're worth listening to, we thank you for it. It means a lot to us. Um, I wrote down on here ministry, you know, prison ministry and drug rehab ministry, you guys know, has always been a part of who I am. Hebrews 13:3 says, be with those in prison as though you're in prison yourself. Two-thirds of the New Testament Bible was written in a prison. So I really have a heart for those guys. And, my job has taken priority where I haven't been able to focus on those things quite like I wanted to. So I am looking for a passion project that goes beyond just making a living. So be in prayer for me on those things. I'm really trying to weigh out those things and what's best and how to accomplish them. So um, services we offer, and this is going to be the wrap up of today's podcast, and it'll be long enough if you've already listened. So this long. So Um, you know, I'll start with financing. Obviously, you guys know we created Shed Geek Financing, which is powered by Jay Money, um, Joe Oni, and his group. And what they've done is really awesome. Financing in the sense of partnering with Upgrade, and there's just so many thoughts that I've got on it. Um, I guess first and foremost is, I believe that financing is the natural rhythm that we will find ourselves in terms of being able to offer some type of services, uh, payment services for customers who want to purchase products, both steel products and shed or other ancillary products. You know, Financing because, it's already established, it's understood by most. I'm not saying that we don't need a big push in our education system about understanding financing in the school system, but on a personal level, you can teach your family best practices, and I encourage you to do so because there's an ignorance to the way that money works. And I was a victim. Victim's not the right word. I was never a victim. I was exposed to that.
Are you ready to elevate your shed business to new heights? Your pathway to success just got a whole lot smoother with ShedSuite's innovative marketing platform. At ShedSuite, we like to think we understand the shed industry at least a little bit. And over the last 7 years, we've been building awesome software for shed businesses. We focus first on building easy-to-use software to help you create and track orders, like the point of sale and after the sale order fulfillment. And now we're excited to announce our full feature CRM. All things pre-sale, like prospecting and follow-up, all to empower your shed company to market better and sell more efficiently. Our platform empowers you with a marketing toolkit designed to amplify your online presence, engage your audience, and drive sales like never before. Enjoy the ease of conversion tracking, email marketing, centralized lead communication, and so much more. Oh, and guess what? It even comes with an iPhone and an Android app. With ShedSuite's marketing platform, crafting and deploying effective marketing campaigns is a breeze. The advanced reporting functionality allows your team to analyze real-time conversion data so you can make informed decisions and watch your business flourish. There's no better time than now to join the community of shed business owners who are scaling up with ShedSuite. It's time to turn your marketing efforts into real trackable results. Visit shedsuite.com/marketing to get pricing, explore the features, and book a demo. ShedSuite is committed to building top quality software to empower your shed business to thrive.
My parents were both poor growing up. My dad was one of 16. My mom was one of nine. Neither parent graduated high school, let alone college. Came from a broken marriage. I think I've told you guys that. My dad's married 5 times. I was the sixth child of his third marriage. Second child of my mom's second marriage. My mom is great. Just let me be clear and say that she is excellent. Me and my dad have bumped heads more than once. But we're finally at a place where we have our best relationship we've ever had in our life. What does all this have to do with financing, Shannon? Um, you know, I would make the argument. Neither one of my parents made more than $10 an hour their whole life. I've often said I think I've probably made more money than both my parents combined in their lifetime at the age of 44. With that being said, you know, they didn't understand money growing up. No one taught them, and they just didn't understand how it worked. And I think a lot of people don't understand how money works. But financing, to me, is the natural course of the direction the shed industry is going to go. Um, I'm not saying that rent-own's going away by any means. I'm just saying I feel like in many ways it's had its heyday, right? Like financing is a federally regulated credit sale, but it's common to the way that most people do business. However, as we continue to see stressed and strained credit and bad credit making decisions, I wonder sometimes about what those FICO scores will look like, and what kind of rates will you be able to get at 500 FICO or something along those lines. Is it much different than rent to own, and what type of regulations will sort of stranglehold that? And that's something we're always trying to educate ourselves on. Joel does a tremendous job. And I'm super thankful for all of you guys who have signed up through Shed Geek Financing via J Money using the upgrade program. I believe that they have the best program in the industry. And with that being said, do I think others are good and there will be others come to the table? Yes. And do we need that? Yes. I actually think it's going to take competition in order to get us to be able to start offering decent rates at those 500 credit scores. We require, a significant amount of underwriting and background check and different things, because if we're sending the vendor, a check, we want to make sure that they're on par. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. For those who are like, no, I don't want to go through all that. The other companies didn't make me go through all that. Probably not our customer, right? Like we want to be a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Want to be a little more organized, and we can always loosen up a little bit. But it's hard to reinstate anything that you haven't already started with. So we'd rather do that. We're usually finding guys around, 680 credit score and up, but $100,000, go up to $100,000. We could at one point say that we were financing tiny homes. Can't say that now because there are some legalities and things that you can get yourself into trouble with there if you're financing homes, because you have to disclose a certain amount of things and there's regulations around that sort of stuff. If you want to venture out and do all those things on your own, there's plenty of people out there who will go through the process. But we feel like we have a pretty good product with a lot of different terms. So I'm super excited about financing. I really like the idea of more people entering the space. I know if you're a rent-owned company, you don't like to hear that. You might even be saying, but Shannon, you have a rent-owned company. Why would you want to say that? Look, I think that cash is king. And I think that financing would be your next best option. Obviously, if you can get a $5,000 shed on a decent interest rate and you're only paying X amount of fees, maybe it's $1,000 in interest over however many years. That's obviously a better way to purchase. That's at least a cheaper way to purchase if you're going to end up renting to own a shed to completion. Again, in rent to own, you don't purchase anything, you just rent something, but it stands the sniff test, if you will, that it's going to cost you less through a lower interest rate through traditional finance than it will if you make all of the rental payments and receive the building at no cost. That's just my dedication to wanting to see people make good financial decisions, because they're likely, in most cases, renting, likely, not always, but likely, because they've got stressed or strained credit.
Here at Identigrow, we have been providing custom nameplates for the shed and furniture industry for over 20 years. We are so pleased to know that shed manufacturers see the value in expressing their shed brand to potential customers using an Identigrow nameplate. When you add an attractive decal to your product, you will more than pay for the cost with increased sales. Clients will not only be able to identify the shed brand, but it will help to brand and advertise to potential customers who can easily see the nameplate, and in many cases, find a phone number or website to shop for themselves. At Identigrow, we are happy to continue to serve and invite you to visit our website at identigrow.com or give us a call at 540-283-9193. You can even fax us at 540-283-9194 or visit our website by clicking on the Shed Geek newsletter and then simply fill out some basic information for a free catalog or free samples. Thank you, Shed Industry, for allowing us to serve you in identifying your sheds. Identigrow. Identify your products. Grow your business.
So, moving on, I'm a big fan of finance, what it's doing. I'd love for there to be more competition in that space. RTO. Gosh, how I could just go on and on and on about RTO. Software, RTO Pro, RTO Smart, things like that. I'm really watching some of that and seeing, is someone else going to come to the table on that and being able to figure out how we manage contracts. I mean, so the software side of things is really interesting unless you go internally and you can maintain your vertical integration like some of the big companies and create their own software. But it's really interesting. One thing I want to talk about on it, and we're going to do a podcast coming up with Josh and Justin. Many of you guys have already talked to them. You know they're excellent people. They're awesome. But collecting money and investment, public solicitation. I want to be careful because we want to maintain compliance through the podcast. And trust me, if I don't maintain compliance, there's someone out there who will seek the opportunity to reach out to the SEC and see that we are not doing it. So there's a reason why we don't call for investment opportunities. Two reasons mainly on the podcast. One, it's illegal, so we don't do it. Two, it's kind of hard to continue to all of us eat from the same plate, if you will. In other words, those of you who have investors, they're already probably supporting your business, so they don't want to support ours. So it's kind of hard to go to you guys to get it. You got to find outside investors through relationships. And I can even cite to you, the SEC public solicitation rules, Regulation D 506, does not allow general solicitation or advertising to the public. You can only approach potential investors with whom you have a pre-existing relationship. Allows general solicitation on 506C, public announcement, but all investors need to be verified and accredited. Accredited investors include individuals exceeding a net worth of $1 million, excluding primary residency, or with an annual income of over 200,300 with a spouse. You can publicly announce investment opportunities, but only if you conduct fundraising through the SEC registered funding portal or dealer broker dealer. There's limits that you can do. Key considerations: announcing your investment opportunity publicly could violate securities if done improperly. Um, you must verify all investors meet accredited investor criteria, and obviously consult with a securities attorney. And you guys know we have several of those, or a couple of those in the shed industry that's been doing this for a long time, and they offer probably some great advice. We will not use the podcast for that, but we have used our personal relationships as an example. Um, I've learned so much about rent own. Even, a lot of people say, "Oh, you shouldn't be in rent own." Why shouldn't I be in rent own? Because you're publicly or doing the podcast or whatever. I had one guy tell me, I see you in a different space now, in a different light now, because I see you more of as a competitor, which is odd because that company actually um, managed contracts. So I would have thought they would have seen me as a potential client rather than a competitor. Yeah, well, we've grown. We've been able to use the podcast and the platform to be able to grow and reach people and tell them what we're doing in Shed Geek Rentals. We like to think that we've had a trusted brand and that people want to work with someone that they trust. That doesn't mean they're going to run to us. That doesn't mean that we're going to be their first option. We like to try to be if they ever switch. But we want to do things honestly, and we want to grow the right way. We've had a lot of luck this year. We've had a lot of success. This past year, we partnered with Stay at Home Storage. We rebranded Shed Geek Rentals. They've been in business for 13 years, so they already know what they're doing. We've had either our best year or on our way to our best year now since the partnership. So thank you, all of those of you that would sign up. Are we perfect? No. Do we always get it right? No. Have we had to learn a lot along the way? Yes. There's still a long way to go, but I really, really feel super confident in who I'm working with and what we're doing. And you know what? We're happy for the success of others too. I mean, we've had others have so much success that they reach out to us to try to sell their portfolios because they're trying to free up to get more money. We understand. Rent own is, maybe we'll have to do that at some point because we just tap out. Rent own is one of those funny things where, it is a money game. You have to have, a tremendous amount of money to fund contracts to cash flow. And it's been fun to learn. It's also very frustrating. It's also highly competitive to the point to where, I almost worry sometimes about you know, savvy business people who manipulate the situation. I pray that I never become that. You know, it can become very, very difficult and very territorial and very, very protective. And I appreciate good competition. We don't win them all. We lose some. You know, we know we're not going to win them all. We do have a good retention rate. I'm super excited about that. And we've had to ask for some very large numbers, and we have used, for the SEC's sake, we actually have used our personal relationships to gain. Uh, on asking this year, and we've been asking for big money. We may not be one of the big guys by any means, but we had to ask for about 8 million recently, and I think that'll show you um, that's after asking for 5 million, just 4 or 5 months previously. So we are seeing growth. So if there's other RTO companies that aren't seeing growth, we'd love to talk to you if we can take on some partnerships or contracts. We're not necessarily super excited about buying out portfolios, but we like the business that goes along with it. And hey, we're happy to work with you. But if you have someone that you're working with already, that's great. In the marketing world, we actually work with a lot of uh, um, manufacturers that don't use us for rent own. So we're actually making other rent own companies money because we're providing good success in the marketing world to increase people's sales. So we work friendly with other people. We won't ever ask for investment publicly. I did make the mistake one time before of solicitation. No trouble. No one said anything. I just wanted to clear it up and make sure that we are in compliance. We always, always, always want to be in compliance. We have no desire to get anybody's attention. So, working with Stay at Home, best year yet. You're in good hands with those guys. I think I mentioned that. We do have a unique value proposition. You guys have heard that before. One of the things that I find interesting is um, for sheds specifically, um, we offer a premium kickback, if you will, for writing contracts with us. That's a common thing among the industry. What we've tried to do is what seems like a race to the bottom on these dealer premiums is we've actually tried to do something different. We've tried to invest in your marketing budget in lieu of a dealer premium. And the reason I say that is this, in any business in America, you should be applying at least 4% of your total revenue towards your marketing, your all-in marketing budget. Those who are aggressive are doing 8%, 9%, but 4%, 5%, that's pretty standard. If you're John Deere, Coca-Cola, or Bubba's Shed Lot, you should be applying about 4% towards your total marketing budget, whether that's website, SEO, brochures, whatever. Well, that's about what you see the common dealer premium for. So what we decided to do was ask if, hey, we would just invest in your marketing budget if you're using us on rent to own. And the reason for that is we may increase your sales. Maybe you're a $3 million a year company, and with good marketing practices, we can increase your sales to 4 million. The benefits of that far outweigh the check that you're going to get from a premium. And if anybody wants to compete with that, now it's on a much more fair level. Instead of somebody coming in with a big purse, a big chunk of money, they're going to have to outserve you. They're going to have to outserve us in this case. And they're going to have to understand marketing enough to benefit you that way. So we've had private talks with many RTO conversation, people in this. They said, hey, that's a great idea. We've seen a couple of them sort of put the hint out that they're starting to offer some of those services. So we're excited. We know that first mover's advantage is going to go away, but we're super, super excited to be able to offer that. If you have more questions about it, you can always ask myself, Josh, Justin, Dylan, anybody.
Are you a dealer who sells multiple products at your shed lot? Are you tired of sifting through clunky or overcomplicated softwares to simply sell a product? If so, it's time to call Cal. Consumer Aligned Logistics is the affordable, simplified, and scalable solution for your shed, carport, or even RTO company. We are partnered with Idea Room and Shed Pro for configurators and have multiple RTO partners to choose from JMag to Heartland to Shed Geek Rentals and Scott's RTO. And if your partner isn't listed here, just ask. We are happy to add more. Give us a call at 425-359-3279 or visit calcanhelp.com. That's CALCANHELP.com.
Marketing. I'm going to do this because I got a very important client call in about 15 minutes. Shed Geek Marketing. Probably the most exciting thing for me in 2025 is Cord Cook coming on as the development manager for Shed Geek Marketing. You guys know Dylan Street is president of Shed Geek Marketing. You're probably familiar with Wyatt, who's a CRM specialist, David, who's a website specialist, Nick, who is a video specialist, and Dylan, who I like to call just the Willie Mays of everything. He's got talent in many different directions. So super excited to have, those guys involved. November was our best month ever. Only just barely beat October, which was our best month ever. We're excited really about marketing and where it's going in 2025. We're nearing 50 clients in the shed space now. We believe that we still have a long way to go. We'd love to talk with your company about marketing. We have a 100% retention rate at this point. So we're excited about, people who are working with us are staying on. Our close rate is continuing to go down because we're getting more inquiries, but we're still closing at a good rate. Early on, it was awesome. And listen, we are educators. So if you call and you say, I don't understand marketing, I just want to understand it, we'll just have an hour conversation with you about it. That way we can kind of understand and consult you in the right way. We might not be the right fit, especially if you're a dealer. It's really hard to work with dealers unless you're really doing a lot of volume. Because there's just a certain amount of costs that you need to be able to prepare yourself for if you want to do marketing the right way. Starting out with building your branding guidelines, moving into your website, creating, installing all of your tags so that we can track the success of campaigns, and then moving into things like campaigns, Google ads and Facebook ads, Instagram. There's other areas where people are starting to do ads. I mean, we stream in different other areas like Hulu and stuff like that. So we can reach a lot of markets. The cool thing about us, this is what I like, is, we had a pretty large company come on as a client. And they had a marketing person there. And the marketing person had a good opportunity to go work for somewhere else. And probably what I'm most excited about is he suggested on the way out, they should hire us as an agency. And I can't say thank you enough to him for that because we didn't see that coming. Basically, what we're trying to say is you can hire one person, but it's going to be hard to have one person to be good at everything. On the flip side of that is when you hire an agency, you have multiple people good at one thing. David's really, he's built so many websites, right? Like he just knows his way around. He's built so many shed websites to be specific. So not even just marketing, but marketing in the shed space specifically. Nick with video, and I think video is highly, highly underutilized continually in the shed space. Like you could put out good video content constantly, and it's almost like your customer knows you whenever they show up. And if you do it well, there's a cost to it. Let me rephrase that. There's an investment to it. The same as if you're a hauler and you have to buy a semi and a shed mover and a trailer. If you're a shed builder, you've got to buy some metal and you got to buy some boards and some hardware. If you're investing into marketing, it's supposed to be making you more money than it's costing you. And that's what our promise is to you if we're working with you. We do not like the idea of just costing you money and being a line item budget. If we're costing you money, then we need to part ways, and we'll part ways sooner than later. At some point you got to be making money on what we're doing, what we're offering for you. So there's that. Excited about having Cord on. You guys are going to love him. His podcast is coming out this Wednesday. You'll know him from HHO. We did a podcast with him previously years ago, a couple years ago. He was a franchise expert in what he was doing. We were lucky enough to pick him up to come over and join the Shed Geek team. So super excited to have him on. You'll still continue to see from all the rest of us as far as like Dylan or Wyatt or any of those guys. Yeah, I'm rambling at this point. And it sounds like they're testing out the tornado sirens. So if you're hearing that in the back, my apologies. Guys, I don't really know where to go from here. Love to talk with you. Love that you guys continue to listen. Hope that we continue to put out content that you guys would enjoy. You're always, always, always welcome to reach out to me. I don't mind anytime ever you guys reaching out. I always try to get back to you within the same day or at least within the same week minimum. It's 15 emails while I was on doing this podcast. So, it's going to be busy, busy, busy. That's just the way life is. I prefer it that way. Keep your pipeline full if you're in sales. That's the key to success. That's my little opinion for the day. Not everybody's going to close at once, but you will eventually have people close. Yeah, I really don't know where else to go other than maybe we'll do some more of these. If this turns out crash and burn and you guys don't like it, maybe we won't do any more of them. But appreciate you guys listening to me sit and ramble, kind of talk about the state of the industry, the state of the podcast, where we are, who we are, what we're doing, where we're going. I always enjoy sitting down with you guys. I encourage you guys to reach out. I'd love to create some dynamic podcast episodes this year in 2025. And that's about it. I haven't prayed in a while. Haven't got a chance to. We're going to go ahead and pray us out of here today so that I can hop on this other phone call soon. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for this new year. New year meaning new opportunities. It means you've kept us here for some reason, some purpose, which we're supposed to be obedient to and listen to and be sensitive to as you give us direction. I'd ask that you'd continue to speak into your people through this industry that has embraced faith in so many ways, and we're so appreciative for that. Knowing that we could be and have been in so many industries that do not seek your will, seek your guidance, seek your word. We're thankful for you. We're thankful for your son. We are thankful that you would give us any opportunity that we have. We know that nothing comes except for through the Father. We know that you are blessing us to stand up and walk each day, to breathe each breath, and we don't want to take those things for granted, even in our sinful nature. We ask that you'd forgive us in areas that we failed you and failed each other. Ask that you would continue to just sort of bless this industry as it's been a beacon, considering the giving heart and charitable heart of those to give of their time, their products, their money away to, as an example, the folks suffering through the storm damage out in North Carolina, East Tennessee. I ask that you would just watch over us and help us to hold our tongue, be wiser, be better listeners, and have sort of a spirit that puts you first as each potential customer we meet through shed hauling or through being a shed dealer who comes in to purchase today, or manufacturer, or a new hire for our companies. Just ask that you would just continue to be a blessing to us, and we thank you for your obedience. We know that you are always, always, always on time. And we know that you are always for us and you have a plan for us to succeed. We thank you, God. We give you our best today. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, guys. Certainly appreciate you listening. And I sure hope you got something good out of this today. I know I did. Talk to you soon.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.